Happy holidays from Bloodbath and beyond. Today we review Good Tidings. Christmas can be killer.
Written and directed by Stuart Bedford, starring Alan Mulhall, Stu Jopia, and Claire Crossland, Good Tidings is about three psychopaths who invade a homeless shelter and start killing every individual in there. And they're dressed like Santas. What do we like about this movie?
These three killers, Curly, Larry, and Moe, they are downright creepy, and their look is awesome. The masks, the way their mannerisms are, just how they move and how they act. Like, it's slapstick with like the Three Stooges sense, but it's creepy at the same time. Like, they are people you don't want to mess with.
They don't say any words throughout the whole movie. It's just laughing and actions. And the other thing is there's no motivation. They're seriously just insane psychopaths. And you have no idea why they're doing this. And I think it just adds to like how fearsome they can be because you have no idea what they're going to do or why they're doing it.
This film is a low-budget indie movie, but it takes place in a courthouse. So I'm actually shocked at the location because it's an entire courthouse, and because it's an invasion movie, you kind of get a feel for the floor plan and you know where characters need to go and how they're going to use the space.
The characters in this movie, they were well developed. You got a good sense of all the relationships between them, how they respected and cared for one another, what type of people they are, whether they're stand-up individuals, whether they're selfish. It added a lot of emotional weight to the movie that is not something you see too often in these kind of like invasion like psychopath movies, but it was well done. I actually enjoyed, you know, the conversations between the characters and how they acted. Another
unique quality to this film is the fact that our protagonists and all of our characters are homeless. When was the last time you were rooting for a homeless guy versus a psychopath?
I think what best works with them being homeless is the fact that they rely on each other because that's their family. They don't have outside family, so you don't need to kind of insert exposition to get that across. So if somebody gets killed, then it has more weight.
The kills in this movie were well done. Even more so than them having gory scenes, you also had impactful ones that were done off camera, and you just hear screams. So you have much more punch to the kills in this movie than you usually get.
I thought the production value in general was excellent as well, especially knowing this is an indie feature. Like, the camera work was pretty solid. Everything looked really nice, and I liked the soundtrack. The soundtrack was pretty neat because it took your standard like Christmas carols or Christmas songs and just kind of made them creepy.
What didn't we like about this movie?
Touching on the kills a little bit, well, they were impactful. I think that there should have been more on-screen kills because the first, I think, 2 or 3 kills that we see are on screen and you get a nice blood splatter and everything. And so you kind of expect that throughout the rest of the film, and unfortunately you don't get it again. Almost every other kill is off-screen or a fade to black.
Though I really did like our 3 killers and our main protagonists, I felt that their backstories and the decisions they were making were out of place at times in the film, especially with how the killers were setting up and staging everything right off the bat.
Yeah, these guys basically act like bank robbers almost. They seem just like masked goons that you would have saw in Dark Knight. Yet, the moment that they enter the courthouse, they set elaborate traps up, but the only thing that you've seen previous is them kind of in hospital gowns acting crazy, and there's nothing to let you know that they are skilled in either doing bank robberies or home invasions or setting traps in any sense. One of the problems with this movie, and I think a lot of people will experience this as well, is some of the pacing. Because our killers are established right at the beginning, they get into the courthouse within the first 10 minutes of the film, and it's kind of just people running away from these Santas for the rest of the movie. And as the main characters start to fight back, they'll like incapacitate them, they'll get up and they'll run away, and these Santas will get back up and the chase begins again. And this happens 2 or 3 times, and it just gets exhausting. You're just like, okay, when are they finally going to kill these guys?
We don't get the motives of the 3 killers, and it's a nice touch, but at the same time, they kill people without any reason, but then they keep them alive without any reason as well.
There's this weird, almost like there was a plan, but they just decided to cut it from the movie or something. It does work well because it adds to how crazy they can be. You do feel it's it's missing something.
You can try and put together what happened. Like, we have like a war veteran who's our main lead, Sam, and then we have our three like crazy guys who obviously came directly from an asylum to the courthouse to exact vengeance on someone. And I feel that there was a different part of this movie that's missing. Maybe he wasn't a war veteran, and maybe he was a cop, an arresting officer that would have put these guys in the asylum. Or maybe he was on the jury that helped decide their fate and put them in an asylum. And so they're coming back, because when you get to the end of the film, and I'm not going to spoil anything, there are a few shots that suggest that there's a bigger story here, but it's not explained.
It's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
Good Tidings was a refreshing take on the Santa killer movie. I enjoyed our characters, and I really thought the killers were creepy. However, I did think that the pacing was way off. But in any case, I think a lot of people will enjoy this, so I'm gonna give this 3 first-generation iPods out of 5.
This was a nice thriller horror movie. I think it was a well thought out story. It all took place in one location. It does feel like there's some things that were left out, so it's kind of incomplete. But I think overall, people will enjoy this movie. And so I'm going to give it 3 Jack-in-the-Boxes out of 5.
I think Good Tidings will bring you comfort and joy. I liked our killers. All 3 of them were awesome. Though I do wish we got to see more of the kills, and it felt like there was way more to this story than what we actually seen, so it's gonna be a head scratcher, but it's still a really good film. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this 3 killer candy canes out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond. We got more holiday movies coming at you soon.